Ghost Ships. Part 2. From Mystery Diaries. Used to trade pelts for provisions in Inuit settlements along the north coast of Canada, the SS Baychimo was no stranger to harsh conditions. This 230-foot cargo steamer had just been freed from pack ice a week earlier when it got stuck even worse on October 8, 1931, leading over half of its crew to abandon it while 15 remained to wait out the winter nearby in a wooden shelter that they built. When a blizzard struck on November 24, the ship was later found to be missing and assumed sunken, but it turned up 3 days later, 45 miles away. The crew gathered up the cargo and abandoned the ship, believing it wouldn't survive the winter, but once again it did not sink. Over the next several decades, sightings of the Baychimo were reported all over the coast, and some people even boarded the ship. It was last seen stuck in ice off the Alaskan coast in 1969. Did it finally sink? Maybe, or maybe it will turn up once again. In 1906, the SS Valencia sank off the coast of Vancouver, British Columbia after encountering bad weather near Cape Mendocino and thereafter became a subject of mysterious ghost stories. Eventually, 37 of merely 108 people were saved using lifeboats, among which one simply disappeared. Since then, many a fisherman has claimed to witness ghost ship sightings with human skeletons even after many decades post-sinking. In 1947, two American ships, while passing through the Strait of Malacca, went off to a rescue mission after receiving a distress call from Ourang Medan. The caller claimed to be a crew member and conveyed the message of the death of everyone else on board. His words weirdly ended with "I die." The rescuers found the ship unharmed but the entire crew, including the dog, dead with terrified faces and expressions. Before the further investigation, the abandoned ship caught fire and exploded. The probable reason could be overexposure of nitroglycerin, which it was carrying illegally. The other mystery revolves around the story of paranormal activities or alien invasion. The Octavius became more than just a legend back in 1775 when a whaling ship named the Herald found it aimlessly drifting off the coast of Greenland with all of its crew frozen dead by the Arctic cold. To add to the spooky environment, the ship's captain was found sitting at his desk, with a logbook in front him, and finishing a log entry from 1762. Relating to this could mean that the Octavius had been floating for 13 years and completed its passage to the Atlantic while returning to England from the Orient via the Northwest Passage as a ghost ship. An interesting story of love, jealousy, and rage complements the tale of this haunted ship. In 1748, the day before the Valentine's Day, it was set to sail as a celebration of the ship's captain's wedding. Nevertheless, his friend, who was too in love with her, out of vengeance, steered the ship into the notorious Goodwin Sands, sinking it and killing all on board. Since then it could be seen every 50 years sailing around Kent. 1798, 1848, 1898, and 1948 has witnessed this ship's sightseeing, and some boats had actually sent out rescuers, assuming it was in distress, but later could not be found. Albeit, there was not any confirmed spotting in 1998, this famous ghost ship continues to be a legend. In maritime folklore, this ghost ship has left the maximum impact like no other by inspiring numerous paintings, films, books, opera, etc. Van der Decken, the captain, on its way towards East Indies, with sheer determination, tried to steer his ship through the adverse weather condition of the Cape of Good Hope but failed miserably even after vowing to drift until the doomsday. Legend says that since then they have been cursed to sail the oceans for eternity. To this day, hundreds of fishermen and sailors from deep sea have claimed to have witnessed the Flying Dutchman continuing its never-ending voyage across the waters. The Nina yacht's crew reached out to meteorologists with concerns about dangerous weather conditions in 2013, then stopped responding. Given the 70-mile-per-hour winds and 26-foot-high waves, it seemed obvious that the boat had met its match and never made it through the storm. A fruitless search effort might have been the end if it weren't for a mysterious message. 3 weeks after anyone had heard from the crew, an undelivered text reached one of the meteorologists. "Thanks, storm sails shredded last night, now bare poles," it read, noting that the boat was still on the move. The family of a 19-year-old girl on the boat took that message as a sign that she was still alive. Their private search turned up satellite photos that they thought might be of the missing Nina, though most experts say it was just a large wave. When Filipino fishermen boarded a seemingly abandoned yacht in 2016, they weren't prepared for the sight they would find: the mummified body of a German sailor. Manfred Fritz Bajorat had been sailing around the world for about 20 years. He'd last been seen in 2009, although a friend said he'd heard from Bajorat on Facebook in 2015. There was no evidence of foul play, so a year would seem like enough for the warm, salty air to mummify the body, until an autopsy revealed he'd probably only been dead for about a week. Life buoy hanging on wooden wall for emergency response when people sinking to water almost placed near pool and beach. This Myanmar ghost ship mystery is a pretty recent one, and one that has most likely been solved. The Myanmar, also known as Burma, ghost ship was the Sem Ratalangi PB 1600 freighter, and fishermen found it off the coast of Myanmar, empty of people and cargo, in August 2018. Shortly afterward, though, Myanmar's navy discovered that the freighter had been on its way to a shipbreaking plant to be dismantled, being towed by a tugboat when bad weather hit. The cable connecting it to the tugboat snapped, so the Myanmar ghost ship was abandoned by its crew. Thanks for watching, friends, and see you in the next video.